think so. So we have 8 for that, 20 against that motion, so that motion is defeated. And Standing Order 13.6a stands. So at the end of this debate, there will be no vote, and the matter will be referred to Cabinet for decision, no doubt taking account of this debate. Do you wish to propose your original motion in the light of that outcome? Councillor Williams.
Yes, Chair. And in moving my motion, I will make as many points as I can, because I realise I will have difficulty if the leader reaches for 13.6c to throw it out with no debate, as she's already got her hand indicating, Chair, as the Deputy is eagerly trying to draw your attention to. But I do still at least get to move the motion. The 4-day week is something that affects every single one of our residents, whether you're a Liberal Democrat councillor, a Conservative councillor, or an independent councillor. Every single one of our residents is affected by this trial. Also, the figures that were provided earlier, even if we base it on the original 470 members of staff, mean that £3.3 million will be spent in 12 months on salary for hours not worked. That is a huge amount of money, taxpayers' money. I'll provide the maths later, Deputy Leader, if you need them. That really is such a fundamental decision to use and to take, that the exclusion of all councillors, I think, is absolutely awful. And I think it shows complete contempt for the majority, 80% of residents in South Cambridgeshire. Now, I reflected earlier on the fact that when I first came with my youth engagement motion, it got voted down. And later on, it was decided that it was the right thing to do. I've been reminded by colleagues that in 2007, blue bins were introduced by this council, and the Lib Dem opposition kicked up a fuss about that, and it was an awful, awful thing. Now, would any of us be without the blue bins now? So I hope you've had a change on heart, because I don't think with the rest of your spending we could afford to replace them. Northstowe. When it came to community facilities in Northstowe, we said the proposal was not feasible, would not work, that was originally put on the table. And we said that the modular option was the best way to get things to Northstowe as quickly as possible. No, we were ignored again. And then later on, the administration had to accept that we were right, and then we go back to it. But how much time wasted? How many residents went without for that period of time? And then most recently, congestion charge. We've said that it's not the right proposal. We've said it's not the right thing to do. We've been laughed at. We've been told we don't care. And yet then, all of a sudden, the proposals fall because the South Cambridgeshire Lib Dem group have a change of heart and a change of direction. I appreciate that is not every single member of the Liberal Democrat group, and that was made quite clear. So I'm going to refer us now back to what I said when I gave my annual report, when I gave advice to the administration to change course. I asked you to change direction before it was too late. I said that this council's reputation and the residents who live here could not afford to continue with what was happening. Reputational damage to this council is extremely high at present. When I say that I'm a councillor of South Cambridgeshire, as I did throughout our conference recently, people instantly know of this, and they instantly believe now that we are the joke council. I don't want to live in a joke council, and I am extremely concerned that all of this has happened with no consultation with residents, and in fact that we have not been allowed a vote. Democrat is in your party name. And yet, as an MP joked, it doesn't feel very democratic around here, does it? So, we were right about youth engagement. We were right about North Stowe. We were right about the blue bins. Some of you at least agree we were right on congestion charge. So please, don't play games. You've already allowed us a vote. Look at what is being asked. For a report to come to council and for us to debate it in the normal way. That should not be controversial. It should not be controversial or ignored the fact that all councillors would want to have a say in how this council is being fundamentally changed, and given that we now face potential financial penalties for doing it. We've all seen the letters, we all know what's potentially on the cards, and yet again, you're still not even allowing us at the next meeting to have a vote as to whether it continues or not. You need, I'm afraid, to listen on this. I told you so was said earlier. And I think actually in congestion charge completely right. But it's not a nice feeling, because I have pride for where I live. I have pride for the residents I represent. And people can shake their heads and laugh. But at the end of the day, every one of you will have to look your residents in the eye. And if I appreciate Cabinet, administration, you've made your decision, but there's plenty of people in here that are not part of that Cabinet. It was very brave for Councillor Brian Mills to speak the way he did, and I've shown respect to that last time. People are on the Lib Dem back benches. You have the opportunity to vote here if you want to. I'd hope.
Williams, would you draw your conclusions to your remarks for conclusion?
I will do, Chair. Try and get some control of this. If your Cabinet won't, you need to, before we're all a complete laughing stock.
Thank you. Councillor Williams, I would just say that I haven't seen anyone laughing at what you're saying, and that would be disrespect. That would be, let me make it clear, that would be disrespectful. If that were to happen, I would seek to pick it up immediately. I wouldn't like you to respond to that if you don't mind. I would just leave it at that and ask Councillor Graham Cohn, who I think has offered to second this, whether you want to speak now or at the end of the debate.
I'm happy to speak now, Chair.
Please.
So, I don't think we should be afraid of this motion. I think it's perfectly reasonable to have a report at the next meeting. I think it's perfectly reasonable for all councillors to have their say and a vote on this issue. I really don't think we should be afraid of this motion as it stands, which is why I support it.
Thank you. Who would like to speak on this?